maybe. There we go. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Citizen Talk episode 4, where we have a pretty good agenda for this evening. With 4.2 inbound, we got a lot to discuss, a lot of stuff for the newbies, which we discussed last week. We are joined again by MrBKnght. And yeah, let's get this going. I am EvilTactics. I am one of your hosts, live streamer on Twitch, content creator on YouTube, pretty much been a backer for Star Citizen since I almost forgot the year, 15. But yeah, so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna discuss a lot. I'm gonna send you on over to Knight so he can do his introduction.
Sweet. Hello, everyone. My name is MrBKnght. I go by either Blue or Knight. It's up to you. When I'm not doing Citizen Chat podcasts, that can be found on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and quite frequently on the weekends. Streaming Star Citizen and other sim games, usually around 7 p.m. Mountain Time. As far as my Star Citizen background goes, I've been backing the game since February of this year and have since accrued about 24 ships, 4 of which are pledged, 2 executive ships, and the rest are all bought in game. My main activities in Star Citizen are bounties, mining, cargo, and hauling when I'm not running air support for org mates on EvilTactics. And then as far as this week's episode, we are going to be diving into the ship of the week, which is the Anvil Asgard. For the newbies, we'll be talking a little bit about the best way to get started in Star Citizen, and our main topics will be the various gameplay loops that you can play within the game. And with that, we'll get started with the ship of the week, and EvilTactics is going to cover the Asgard.
Oh, I didn't see that part. All right.
Yeah. Ta-da!
Yeah, right. All right. So, as some people are aware, the Anvil Asgard was one of the newest ships announced during Invictus. A lot of stuff was announced during Invictus, and if you missed Invictus, sorry guys, you missed out on a lot of fun. But so the Anvil Asgard, what is it? What is it used for? Well, a lot of people will tell you it's just another variant of the Valkyrie, which
Valkyrie 2.0.
Yeah, which they're not 100% incorrect on. The Asgard, which you will see right here, is actually got some pretty good use case. It is a 2 max crew. As you see, it's flight ready, medium-sized hangar. Pretty cool. It is known for being able to carry and deploy the Tumbril Nova tank, heavy armor, and devastating missile turret, which it does have. I mean, its missile turret's pretty gnarly. We'll do a quick rundown. Technical specs, it's 48.7 meters long, 15.5 meters high, and 34.1 meters in width, with a top speed of 207 meters a second. Now that is in SCM mode, not nav mode. It comes with quite a few guns on it. They still have it wrong on here because it's actually got 6 size 3s on the front. Well, I guess technically it is right. 1x2 size 3 and 4 times size 3s. As long as Knight doesn't die to the ladder here, which is another bug we will discuss here in a second. It holds 16 size 3 missiles. Talk about a ship that punches above its weight class. Also comes with a single dual size 4 manned turret. And a total of 180 SCUs of cargo space. That is a lot. Compared to the Valkyrie, which I believe was didn't they only up it to like 90?
Something like that, yeah.
I think it's double the cargo space of the Valkyrie. It's a little different, as you can see from the hologram here. Honestly, nice design. Why did I zoom in like crazy? Fucking, I know why. Let's see. It also has Well, we already went over the specs. So, what is this ship for? Why would you might want it? How much is it? It's 350 USD. It's not buyable in game yet, which it should become 4.2 typically. How much it's going to be in game, we do not know. We can come back to that once it's actually in game. But what is this used for? Well, if you're in an org, which we talked about last week, drop tanks, mech suits, whatever. It's still a drop ship, but it's meant to drop vehicles. So you can drop your Ursas, your tanks, your MTCs, which I don't think the MTC actually fits. What do you have on that? Those are
On my
Ardors.
ship? No, all NDBs.
Oh.
Yeah,
All
this thing's decked
NDBs.
out with. This is decked out with all NDBs, and then my size 4 man turret is, I believe, the Panthers.
Okay.
Rhinos or wait, which ones are the size 4s? Our size 4s Rhinos, and then size 5s are Galdarines, and size 3s are Panthers.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I got going on. Yeah, I've got 2, 4, 6 NDB 30s up on the front here.
That thing looks nuts firing. So this ship is actually kind of useful. It depends on what your use case scenario is going to be. For a lot of us, it could be cargo running. It could be dropping stuff off to your org mates while they're mining, maybe picking up some full ore bags. I mean, there's so many use cases for this ship that it is a nice addition to the game. I am happy that they are adding stuff like this into the game. They're coming out with a lot of these unannounced ships. CIG is on top of their ship releases this year. I mean, normally we only get concepts during Invictus, not full releases. So
Yeah,
that's really nice to see. Realistically, that's about it for the Asgard. There's not much to go over. It is a new ship. It is $350. It falls into the combat drop ship. Pretty useful if that's something you are wanting, if that's something that maybe you're looking to get into. I wouldn't say call it a starter ship just due to the sheer price of everything. That is a lot of money to dump into the game right off the bat. But yeah, as you see here, Knight is walking around the cargo hold, which is deceiving. It looks like a massive cargo hold for the ship that... Like, the cargo hold looks bigger than the actual ship.
it really does. When you step inside this thing, you don't expect to have to, you almost want to run to the ladder because it's so much space. But on the outside of the ship, when you're out here, it really doesn't look like it has all that much.
It doesn't match. The interior does not match the sheer scale of the ship. Like,
No, it doesn't.
it's insane.
I'm gonna see if this glitch happened again. So there are a few issues that I've. Yep, I fell through again.
Nah.
For some reason, every now and then, either the ramp right here, and this is part of the bugs and pros and cons, the ramp right here just doesn't hold you, and you have to find an alternate method. I ran into this bug actually when I was using this ship down by the paths to loot the paths, and this entire cargo floor was intangible, so I couldn't actually get in, so I had to Alt F4. And then as far as like other bugs goes, the decapitation bug where this door right here, which I really don't see the purpose of this door, other than, hey, don't fall in here.
It's pilot security. So actually, if you close it, so right now up there in the cargo hold, what seems like you can look out into the cargo bay, right? You're actually behind a pane of glass.
Yep.
So what that ladder allows is it allows the pilot and the crew, in case they get boarded, to remain somewhat safe and have a pinch point. Because, to be fair, it's probably one of the most secure ships in the game if you really think about it. Because there's no way for you to get, like, even if you get on board in the cargo hold, you're not getting up that ladder and to kill the pilot or to kill the remote gunners. You're going to have a hard time with that ladder being there. That is a choke point. And honestly, I think it's a pretty well thought out choke point that they did. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Valkyrie had the ladder too.
But there's no door on the Valkyrie.
Yeah, but I believe you could actually shoot down from the upper platform on the Valkyrie.
Ah, okay.
This one you can't.
No. Engineering terminal that's not useful yet. A couple of jump seats. You do have a lot fewer seats on this ship than you do the Valkyrie. It's got a couple of seats for your crew chiefs and offloaders, or if you got a tank driver on here, they could jump in there. But there's only 3 seats on here. There is a sleeping quarters for 2. There's 2 bunks, and then there is storage in here, which I find useful. There's one over on this side, and then I think, yeah, there's another storage unit over here. So if you're looking to store stuff while you're looting or going from paths to orbital platforms, whatever it is, you can stash your loot in these storage boxes over here. There's easy access to all the ship components. So if you're swapping out ship components, you can yank these out of here. Quantum drives back over this way. And then there are fuses. I found out, I was messing around with the fuses to see what you can control. And if you are trying to disable this ship, they are flying. If you come over here, this fuse right here will actually disable all of the flight controls.
Oh.
So you will not be able to control the ship if you pull that fuse out. If you're looking for fuses that don't really do anything, these 2 fuses at the moment, I've tried to see what they turn off, but I have yet to discover any function on this ship where these fuses will actually disable it if you pull them out. I've flown with these fuses yanked out before, and I have no idea what they control. I don't know.
Maybe it stops the function of the cargo doors being opened.
Yep, everything's functional.
Oh, okay. Like, so yeah. That's one thing I wish, like, with engineering that they bring in is like some kind of layout for the engineer to show you what fuses, what those fuses feed, you know, and like, because you got to give someone some knowledge of their ship and the electrical system in the ship. So I'm really hoping they do come out with something, but odds are that would just take more time and be more of a headache. The Asgard makes for a good daily flyer, you know, if it's something that you're looking to, like I said, get as a non-combat role, but be able to take some hits. I have heard she does feel a little squishy. I'd say that's probably one of the downsides of it right now. And another one is the when you load a vehicle in, now they are fixing this in the 4.2 patch with the vehicles bouncing around inside the back of ships and on hangars and whatnot. So they are working on it. They're aware of it, and they are fixing things. It's just taking them a little bit go. But we know the bugs are the, you know, ladder door of death. And right now you fall through the ramp coming up. Sorry, Knight, you can't use a fire extinguisher yet.
I know. I was just going to say, like, engineering. I've actually, after using this ship, I was using this for bounties a couple weeks ago. The week after I got it, I was running around doing bunker missions and for the mercenary missions, and I ended up having to go back because my ship got destroyed. Oh, it wasn't mercenary; it was actually bounties. Because when when you do mercenary, no, yeah, it was mercenary. Sorry, I'm getting all my gameplay loops all mixed up. When you do mercenary missions, when you land at the location that you're trying to go to, you're not a target. You're friendly. You're allowed to be on property. But if you die, your ship will become an element or an entity that's trespassing, and that's what happened to me. And I was trying to recover all my stuff off the ship. I managed to go back like 4 or 5 times trying to get this thing back, and I got shot by the anti-air lasers at the site that I was at, to the point where it almost felt like the ship was bleeding out. Have you ever you've experienced PvP and you've gotten shot and you bleed out, right?
Oh yeah.
Evil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It felt the same way. So I was able to quantum away from the location I was at, and it felt like the ship itself was just the overall health of the ship was just kind of deteriorating as I was quantuming.
Mm-hmm.
And halfway through my quantum jump, my ship disabled itself. I couldn't fly it anymore. There wasn't anything that I could do. And, come to think of it, now that after I've had some time to explore this thing, I wonder if this fuse blew, because I didn't actually look at this thing.
Well,
I couldn't control my ship anymore.
What's up,
But
Parker? How you doing, man? That is one thing I am wondering about with some degree of engineering coming in, which I haven't seen anyone cover. Like, none of the big streamers who are showcasing 4.2 in the PTU are showing off any of the engineering. I mean, mainly everything we're seeing right now is the new locations, the new event, or sorry, can't call it an event, sandbox activity. Come on, CIG, it's an event. But I'm wondering if you're right about that, and part of the problem is like your quantum drive takes a little bit of damage and you're leaking quantum fuel, or you've got what's the word I'm thinking of? I'm thinking Star Trek here. Power conduit that is damaged. So, and over time, that damage is going to get worse and worse and worse before a fuse or the power conduit just goes, nope, I'm done. And wherever you're at, you're now stranded. Fuck, I forgot to hit start recording. I'll have to download the VOD. It's okay. What else do we got about the Asgard? Realistically, I think that's gonna be it. I mean, the only upgrade to it is it's got a little more armor than the Valkyrie, I think. We don't know those numbers.
Do you have an Asgard?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not buy an Asgard.
Okay.
No. Okay. It was between melting the caterpillar for the ironclad or buying the Asgard. I melted the caterpillar for the ironclad because I want it.
Yeah, I know. There's been a couple of streamers, not to jump into the ironclad, but there's been a couple of streamers that have been like, so this is what they teased during the monthly report for the month of May, and they said they're putting the details into each room for the Drake outfitting for the ironclad. So there are some people that are speculating that it'll be ready by the end of the year. There's some people that are like, no, it's going to be mid-year 2026. And I really, really wish they'd give I'm like me, give me info, give all of us some info on where it's actually at.
I want to say, let's think here. So the development process that CIG has goes concept, white box, gray box, LOD 0 or level of detail 0. And then it goes into, oh, God damn it, the word, like final touches. It goes into its gold pass, more or less. So The way it is now is compared to what it used to be. Pretty much once ships hit their final review, they were released. They didn't go through a gold pass. Now they go through a gold pass, which is where they make sure everything is functional on that ship.
Yeah.
So they make sure, even though engineering's not in the game, they make sure the engineering's going to work. They make sure all those systems that are going to be used for the ship in the future are already on the ship, ready to go, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, I want the Ironclad. I'm thinking IAE.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's October-ish, right?
October, November. So Citizen Con's typically in October. IAE is just before Christmas. So I think November. I think IAE is typically going on right before they go on Christmas break.
Gotcha.
So, as for the price of the Valkyrie, it is $350 USD. We do not know the in-game and AUEC yet. And would we recommend it? Knight, you've been flying it.
I was gonna say I'll take this one because I actually have it and I've been flying it. When I look at the Asgard, I think of it as an all-arounder. It is meant to be a drop ship. It has a large cargo capacity compared to. If I was going to compare it to something, I look at like maybe the Connie. The Connie, they have the Constellation series ships, which we covered last week. They have size 5 weapons on them. The Asgard clearly does not, so it doesn't pack as much of a punch. But the Asgard's speed and what its perceived durability make it a really good candidate for somebody who wants something that can take some hits, can fight back a little bit, can carry 180 SCUs of storage or whatever it might be. I would say I would recommend it for a player who is trying to fulfill a maybe cargo runner and maybe a bounty mission player. It does feel a little bit squishy sometimes, but I managed to get my hands on some of the military components. Let me see really quick what I actually have loaded out on there.
Does that seem like it helped?
It did. When I brought up the shield power, I went from a civilian grade or whatever came stock on the ship. Here's my loadout for systems. I've got 3 avalanche coolers on there, which allow me to drop the cooling level down to 1, which also allows me to bump up the shield power. I don't have any military shields on this thing right now, so they're just ramparts. But putting 2 JS400s on here allowed me to bump up the shields on the Asgard, and it actually made it feel a bit less squishy. There was a noticeable difference. Is it still vulnerable? I think so, but the hull health definitely, it's noticeable that it takes a bit longer to actually shoot through the hull. Yeah. And actually for the hull to take damage even when the shields are down. And then if the ship is pretty quick. I've got an XL1 in this thing and it's zippy.
Yeah, so okay, so is the Panthers it comes with? That's what we were asking earlier. So it's not the Rhinos, it's the Panther. It's Panther, Rhino, Galdarine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That thing's got some pretty good. Now, here's where some people mess up when they are doing like the DPS calculator. They think, oh, I've got the DPS up to 1182 damage per second. Yeah, to a degree. But that, you know, and then you got to look at what it is for like bursts. So like when you're bursting your guns, which I don't think that really is a thing right now. Like you get more damage output when you're burst firing.
I think it just how many shots you land.
Yeah.
I don't think the
'Cause it's
bursting
almost
actually
triple.
does much.
You know, sustained fire is 1182. Burst is 3276. But yeah, I mean, 3 coolers, 2 power plants, 4 shield generators,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
and a partridge in a pear tree. I mean, I
I'm
guess
wondering-
it does. So, and it does have the man turret are size 4 rhinos. So realistically, this thing's got some serious output. Like
when you have that turret manned, it's a force to be reckoned with.
now, I am glad they didn't give that turret pilot control. That would have been way too much. That would have been way too
Overkill.
much. Right.
Anvil, where are you? Asgard. It starts with an A.
If you're in DPS, it's like the second one.
I'm looking for shields. Yeah, shields. The rampart is the best you can get at the moment with a full HP of 6170. And there's 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, no, there's
let's
4
see.
shield generators. So yeah, if you were to upgrade, so stock shield capacity is where is it? 18,960 stock. If you change those all to rampart, you are looking at 24,680. So that would be a what? 60% boost? Something like
Give or
that?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
roughly 58%.
And honestly, the Asgard having either attritions or NDBs isn't a terrible choice for this shit because she's not going up against fighters. At least she shouldn't be. This is a ship that can go toe to toe with, I'd say, heavy, you know, bombers, maybe subcapitals. If you're in a dogfight like an org versus org, and she'd be pretty potent because you got 16 size 3s. Size 3s are going to do some serious damage, considering missiles ignore shields. So yeah, I mean, and that's another thing for new players. Keep this in mind too. Currently, where the game sits, your shields are only really good against energy-based weapons. So when it comes to ballistics and missiles, anything that's a kinetic round, your shields are more or less going to ignore it. I think they have a 75% pass through. Kinetic rounds do. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, I'd say that's a recommend. The Asgard.
I would. I definitely would.
Yeah. Is it something I might get down the road? Yeah, with in-game money because I ain't got the real money to spend. And my wife on the couch would throw something at me. Nothing.
All right, so I think that is a good wrap-up point for the Asgard. Let's move on to newbie info. This week's newbie info is just generally how you get started in the game. We talked about starter ships and we talked about organizations last week. This week, it's more so what you can do in the game. What kind of player you want to be. Do you want to be PvE, PvP? Do you want more action? Do you want it to be calm? We're going to talk about different play loops, so that's we're going to segue over into that in a little bit. And then also like the quickest way to make like starter money when you first start the game, if you aren't lucky enough to find one of those whales that just drops into your Twitch stream and says, "Hey, let me give you $2 million. Go buy your first really nice ship." So when you're beginning to play this game, you have to consider what you really want to do, and there's a lot of different roles that you can pick in this game. There's combat, there's cargo, there's mining, there's salvage, there's multi-role, there's air-to-air combat, there's bounties, there's mercenaries, and there are a difference between the two. What else am I forgetting in here? There's so much to do. I lose track of. There's new maintenance missions that you can do.
I was one of the whales. In your case,
Optics. Yeah, Optics was he helped me get my. I remember one of my first streams. I was trying to get the Freelancer Max because it had a cargo hold of 120 SCUs. It was only like 2 to 4 million. I can't remember what it was, but it was
4.
It wasn't too expensive. 4 million, yes, 4 million. And I like the look of the ship, so he came in, helped me buy the ship, and then it put me into indentured servitude. But no, you guys definitely helped me out, learn the game a lot, and that's another thing is just finding friends to play the game with that can show you around.
Yeah.
I have 24 freaking ships now, and I've only been playing since February, but that was a lot because a lot due to the fact that I had EvilTactics and Optics to show me how to make money in the game. I will say a huge factor was 4.02 supply or die when the price of these crappy commodities, copper and corundum, were through the roof astronomically. But when you're trying to get the first ship type, you have to think about what you want to do. And when it comes to my gameplay, there's some times where I just like to chill and I like to mine and I like to do salvage and do cargo, and that's a really chill aspect of it. But then you get into the PvP and then air support of MrBKnght and contested zones, and then you're like, okay, so instead of getting like the mole for mining or a freelancer for cargo or starlancer for cargo, whatever it might be, then you got to think about, okay, what fighters do I want to get? A lot of people look into the Hornets and the Gladius, and some people get the Arrow, but the Arrow is kind of like a paper kite.
Mm-hmm.
So
as Parker just said in chat, Polaris #1 starter ship.
Polaris #1 star. Yeah, no kidding, dude. So no joke. Sidetrack really quick. I'm actually I'm in Pyro right now, and I died recently, so all my cruise is gone, and I don't feel like carrying around reclaimed water or anything like that. So I jumped in my my med bed really quick just to heal up. And this ship, it's not my day to day, so I don't use this thing constantly, but this ship, when it comes to soloing Foxwell missions, comes in handy. It really does. We'll get to Foxwell missions in a little bit, but I was awarded this ship by the Org Machina. I'm its keeper. And pull it out for MrBKnght and whatnot.
You make it sound like it's not your ship, but it is your ship.
I know it's on my account and everything, but I don't ever. I feel so bad saying this is mine. But it's not like I'm leaving Machina tomorrow.
Right.
Oop, and turn off the engines here.
I think Chrono would kill you.
Oh yeah, he would probably track me down in real life and be like, "You're mine." Yeah, no. I love this thing, and if it wasn't $1,000, I'd say, yeah, dude, you could do so much with it.
You can. We did it. We did it during Supply and
Exactly.
Die. I mean, we would literally go out in a Polaris, run ERTs, HRTs, VHRTs, kill everything.
All of the RTs.
Yeah, all the RTs.
Take all the loot.
And take all the loot. And we would load that thing to the brim. The only thing we never did was load the hangar. But we would load all 680 something SCUs that the Polaris holds and go back.
Is it 600?
Yeah, it's 600 and something SCUs.
I thought it was 500 something. If it's 600, that 690 is what the C2 holds.
Is it 500? I might be thinking of the C2 then.
I thought it was always just short of. I always thought it was just short of. I can go down to the ASOP and look. I always thought it was just short of the C2.
I can never remember.
That's okay. Oh yeah.
And it's $975. It is
That's
$576. You're right.
$576.
It's the same exact amount as a Caterpillar.
And it's roughly 100 SUs short of what you can get into a C2.
Until the
it's not yeah.
Then it's triple.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Yeah. So when you're getting started, just think about what you want to do, and then kind of it's almost like building a computer. When you build a computer, you build it around the CPU. The CPU is kind of like, what do you want to use this thing for? Is it for gaming? Yeah, you're gonna need a beefy CPU that can process a lot. You're gonna have to consider the cores and everything. So when you're starting the game, you got to think about what kind of role you want to take on and purchase the ships around that role. So if you want to do a little bit of everything, think of a multi-role ship. If you want to do something specific like mining or salvaging, you got to think about a mole, prospector, or like you can't get a fortune in the game, but a fortune or a vulture.
And
if you want to run cargo,
to the store now.
Yeah,
I think it's in the store in 4.2.
Okay. I always thought it was silly that they took ships like, oh, I get limiting the Idris, so not everybody has one, and there's some scarcity to it. I think if everybody had an Idris in the game, it'd be a bit annoying. By the way, I didn't even get my subscriber Idris.
I know.
I heard they might be doing it in waves.
For which one?
It's just the Idris.
For the naming?
No, not the naming. They were like sending out the subscriber Idrises, the access to them, like in waves.
That's what's weird, because it was supposed to end yesterday. Like you were only supposed to be able to have it as a subscriber up until the 10th, and I'm seeing that people are getting the emails yesterday and the day before, and it's just like, okay, they didn't say they were doing it in waves. Unless they're extending it because they screwed up.
Maybe.
Because I know that when I had heard that after people got that email on the day that you were supposed to have it, that they didn't have it. Some subscribers.
Yeah, I didn't. I still have yet to see it.
Oh, shit.
Not that I'd want to use it anyway, because the subscriber Idris doesn't have a front weapon on it, so it doesn't have torps, it doesn't have a railgun, it doesn't have a laser. So you're essentially running around with a $2,000 ramrod.
You're running around with the first iteration of a carrier in the game.
Yeah.
It's more or less what it is. I mean, is it a heavily armored carrier? Yeah. But are you missing out on all the fun of that you could have
with a railgun?
Yeah, the railgun, the laser, and
that railgun is fun to fire.
It sounds so good.
It does.
But yeah, I mean, it just depends. If you're looking to get into the game, figure out what you want to do first.
Yeah.
And I heard something today, or I think it was yesterday. I was listening to another podcast. A lot of the larger podcasts, I listen to them while I'm at work because typically they're 2 to 4 hours long, and I'm just like, oh, time to burn some time, and and I heard one of them say that Star Citizen is not a PvP game.
Bullcrap.
Yes. Star Citizen is a PvPvE game. And for new players, and maybe you're new to computer gaming or just gaming in general, and if you are, and Star Citizen is the first thing you're finding out about, good luck. But PvP is player versus player. PvE is player versus environment, aka AI, the NPCs. In Star Citizen, you have everything. You have players to worry about. You have NPCs to worry about, which I really do wish they would bring in more. Like, okay, you know how when we go to Arena Commander, we can do like the Vandal Swarm or, the Pirate Swarm and all that?
Yeah.
Bring in events like that are random in Stanton and Pyro and whatnot. Like, you're on a cargo run from one of the Hathor sites. You're going back to base to offload all your minables that you just did, or all the gear you have. Make it to where you have a chance that you're going to get pulled out of Quantum and have a swarm of pirates try and take you on. And have them be different tier levels. One being like just light fighters that you're going up against, and then scale it up from there. Like, I would love to see that kind of stuff in the game. Now, I think they're working on it.
They kind of did. And this isn't 100% what you're looking for, but I did notice that when you're doing the Foxwell missions, when you're running around trying to find all these outlaws, there are NPC ships out there that will interdict you. Are they good enough to hold a fight against you and actually make it, feel like, holy crap, I'm in a tense situation? I don't think so. What the heck was I flying? I think I was flying around in my Asgard, believe it or not. And I was going from I was jumping from mission to mission. I can't remember what the heck I was trying out, but I was in my Asgard and I got interdicted by a Cuddy. And I was able to take that thing out no problem. It was definitely AI, the way it reacted and everything, but it felt like, while I was out there searching for these criminals for this Foxwell mission, that, one found me, intercepted me, and then, oh no, I got to shoot it down. But it was so easy to like, I deleted that ship so quick. I think I actually clipped it. It's in my clips.
That's the kind of stuff I think
more of an annoyance.
Yeah, but like I think that's part of the things that new players would enjoy. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
they'll crap their pants at first because they're getting interdicted, and they're trying to haul their first $1 million load, and then don't lose it.
But I think like gameplay loops like that where you have the risk of, and it's not just by players, but you have the risk of the AI or the NPCs coming after you, I think would work wonderfully in the game. I mean, it's just something because it's supposed to be a living universe.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they'll bring in stuff like this at some point. Because Stanton, to be fair, can't be a no combat zone. Because I know you've heard it. Oh, we need to separate the PvP and the PvE. No, you don't. You just got to know where you shouldn't be going.
Yeah.
And where you should, keyword, should be safe.
Yeah.
It's
part of the strategic part of the game. Like,
yes.
Outside of the actual gameplay, sometimes you have to pick the server you want to play on. I just did me and a couple of guys just last night, before the server cracked out, we were on a low pop server doing an executive hangar. It was a last second decision. The hangars were opening up in 20 minutes. I was like, hey, anybody want to go do them? We all, a couple of us jumped over to the hangar, and you have to make a choice. Like, even if you're on a low pop server, there's always that chance you're going to pick that one location at the executive hangars that you could get jumped. And I went in with Kez actually into, I think, well, I don't know which one it was, but we went into one of the hangars. It was good to go. We could put the comp boards in, but even when we were going in, like, he had to go. He went first because I was carrying the comp boards, and he got in capped. Eventually deleted by a player that was literally just sitting there waiting for somebody to come along with boards. And he was trying to jump him, get him. Thankfully, I was behind him and I was waiting for some kind of reaction. And I end up getting that guy back. Yeah, funny story. He came back like 4 or 5 times, and we got him every single time. But this guy was a pest. But on your point, yeah, you have to know where to go, and you have to use. You have to have some strategy to it. If you want to go mine something somewhere, don't mine it right next to like a path station. I don't know if you can actually mine anything that close. Or if you're gonna do salvage, don't run into a path location that has an active org event going on where you've got 30 ships flying around. They're like, no, I'm just here for, cleanup, guys. They're not gonna. If you go up against Machina, you fly in their area, they're gonna shoot you down.
Well, and like, so that brings up another point when it comes to new players, right?
Yeah.
Talk to people. Like, if you're going to, let's say, one of the Hathor locations, like you just mentioned, and there's an active org, hop in general chat. Go, hey, I'm coming up in a vulture. Do you guys mind if I just salvage some of these dead ships that are laying around, at the PAFs or floating out at the orbital platform? 9 out of 10 times, I want to say, a group is going to go, sure. Let us know what, because now we don't know player names. But, hey, guys, we got a friendly vulture coming in. Don't shoot him. He's not a part of the party, but he's going to be, scraping some of these ships. Yeah, most of the time, they're going to leave you alone. Yeah. Not everyone in this game is a murder hobo.
No, they're not. Yeah. So, when it comes to making money, salvage is obviously one of them. I'll let you maybe answer this one. What do you think is the quickest way to make starter money there, Evil?
Quickest way to make starter money. Well, some people are going to hate me for this, and some people might disagree. It depends on the ship you have.
That is very true.
So, let's take it from not my perspective, not your perspective, based on the ships we currently own outright in the game. I'm a new player. I've got a 45... Yeah, okay. My wife, as an example, she just said, me. She's got the Nomad, right? It is a
space truck, space pickup.
Yeah, space pickup truck. It's only got a certain amount of cargo space. But what can she do in the game right off the bat to get her in the to start making some money? Run some cargo missions.
Yeah.
Cargo missions are probably... There are 2 safe things you can do in the game right now. Safe-ish. Cargo running and salvage. So, as a new player, start off running some cargo missions. Just, figure out what your quickest runs are. Is it from point A to point B of this station in the same orbit, and you can make, 50 to 100K per run. Cool. Save your money. Don't go upgrading your ships. Don't go, because you can't upgrade the cargo capacity. You can't upgrade any of that. So don't bother upgrading the weapons or the shields. You just save your money.
Maybe the quantum drive.
Yeah, maybe the quantum drive. But other than that, save your money. Don't go buying all these different armor sets. Just get a simple medium armor. Get yourself a gun to protect yourself. But other than that, run cargo, save your money, buy a salvage ship or a bigger cargo ship. Me personally, I would do cargo, then salvage, and then mining. You can get both the salvage ship and the mining ship for about the same price in game. I think it might be $1 to $2 mil difference, and they're not much in game. I think the prospector was what, $2 mil in game. It's nothing crazy. So once you get your money and you got all this going on, yeah, start off with cargo. Then go to salvage. Then go to mining. You know, and if you get with an org, while you're out salvaging, another player could be emptying the back of your vulture and taking that stuff to their cargo elevator for safe storage. And then you let them know, hey, I'm done. I'm coming back with my final load. This is what the plan is. This is what we're going to do. And you sell off. And then you pay them let's say, 100,000. You pay them 100,000 credits for their help, and you pocket the rest because you're a new player. Most of us, seasoned players, we already got millions in the bank. We're not going to tell you, hey, give me 50%. I mean, some people might, but that's not how I operate, and I know that's not how Blue operates, even though we do like our money in the game. But we know...
If somebody new came to me and said, hey, I know you've got a C2, can I borrow it? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I'm not going to ask for like 50% of the whatever it is, maybe 100K to cover like quantum fuel refueling and repairs if there are any. But I mean, heck, I enjoy helping new players discover this game. I actually have, let's see, I got 2 or 3 people right now that I've introduced to Star Citizen, and I'm trying to get them addicted to it. And they don't have they've got the starting funds, the 20,000 AUEC that's in-game currency, and I'm like, yeah, let's go run these missions and just start making money, and don't worry about paying me or anything. I'm just gonna help you get your money up.
Yeah, and if running cargo gets becomes boring to you, most of these ships that can run cargo can do pretty well in a dogfight. You know, so go run some bounty missions. A lot of those bounties pay out anywhere from 25 to 50K a pop. Some are more now, and you've got different gameplay loops to where you can make money. Again, a lot of this, almost everything we're going to talk about, has to do with your play style. If you are a PvE player, you don't want to get into combat with other people. You got cargo, mining, salvaging, bounty missions, even though, keep in mind, it's happened to me and Knight in Optics when we're out running bounties and we clean them up and we're out there salvaging these wrecks, and looting all the cargo, someone spawns a bounty right on our head.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they attack us, sometimes they don't. There's been a few times that we go scurrying back to our fighters, or you were in your Star Lancer Max, and we go scurrying back to our cockpits and start taking out someone else's bounty because they just spawned it on top of us, going, well, we got more loot. There's so much you can do as a new player. Don't feel that you're stuck to Stanton. Don't feel like you have to go to Pyro. Are there better materials in Pyro? Yes. I think there's more. I think there's an abundance of more of Quantanium. You got the ice. You got the Ricite. You got the other one starts with an S. Can't think of it. But it's like what you said with the supplier die missions. Oh my God. if you were a new player and you came in during Supply or Die, oh, you were a happy new player.
I really wish I would have just stuck to mining or, looting as much cargo or copper and corundum as I possibly could.
I know. I look back and I'm just like, because
when
me, I was out of work at the time, so I was just down in the dumps. I didn't really want to play much, and I was just like, oh, I look back and going, damn it, I should have. It's copper and corundum prices. Come back.
Like corundum's like 300 something, 316 or 360 credits in SCU, and they jumped it all the way up to freaking 11K in SCU.
Yeah, I know. And now you can't find Quantanium to save your freaking life unless you mine it.
Yeah, you have to mine it. I don't know
what that's about.
I don't know either.
It's not like you ever found mass quantities of Quantanium anyway on bounties. Might be, I think, there were the very few times we found a 24 SCU container.
I think the biggest that I've ever found was a 44 SCU load of Quantanium on a ship.
Yeah, and like that's rare that you're going to find that much Quantanium in a bounty.
Yeah.
Because I think the way they work the bounties is whatever cargo it's got on it, it's just a roll of the dice. It's not a set. Because they're never the same. Yeah, they're never the same. It's definitely a roll of the dice type thing. So, you mentioned maintenance missions. Sadly, I have not done any of those yet. I want to. Just to see what it's like.
I've seen them pop up in Pyro. I have not done them at all. I don't know what's required. I don't know. I don't know if you have to have anything on you when you go to do them.
Multi-tool?
I did talk to Chrono about it, and he said, and this is another player's perspective. He said they're quite enjoyable. Like they're fun to do. Would he do them all the time? I don't think so, but it was at least a fun element to the game that actually adds to the gameplay versus, this is just something kind of silly and stupid.
Yeah.
Forgive me for a minute. I'm flying through the wormhole, getting back to Stanton and the Polaris. I'm taking all these ship components back to Lorville on the off chance that they might survive the patch.
Maybe.
Sorry. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath, but I'm just
going with it. Yeah, I haven't done any of the maintenance missions. I would like to do some here in 4.2. So I'll probably spend a little bit of time in Pyro. I don't know if that's going to be my spawn point. But we already kind of segued into bounties earlier. Bounties, you get paid out from actually completing the mission, and then you got the cargo that's on the higher tier bounty missions. So that more or less covers bounties. Mercenary missions are kind of the same in a way, except for mercenary missions, I believe, is where you get the call to arms, which the only difference between that and regular bounties is be careful which mission you choose, because you might be picking to go up against another player. So they might have a bounty on their head, and you might accidentally be trying to take out an actual player.
Bounties, so player bounties, I think they stand out. Mercenary missions, you're hired by one of the factions, so First in Security, Crusader Security.
Yeah, so the bunkers.
You go to the bunkers, and you when you're done with it, you have 30 minutes to loot, and then once that 30 minutes is up, you have to get out of there, otherwise they're gonna destroy your ship. Bounties, you're kind of going in as a legit bounty hunter, where you're on your own. If you're gonna go capture this bounty, it's out there, but we're not your friend, we're not your foe. If you're trespassing, you're trespassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mercenaries, you get a little bit more protection when it comes to going into bunkers. Bounties, you're a bounty hunter. You're gonna have some risks, so you have to calculate how you're gonna approach it a little bit differently. Like if I'm gonna go do a mercenary mission in my Asgard, I can land my Asgard next to the bunker, and I know that I'm gonna be safe for at least 30 minutes after I'm done with the mission. When I go to do a bounty, I'm gonna park my Asgard like 5 clicks away from the bunker, and then in the back of the Asgard, I'll have like a Ursa medevac or something where I can respawn if I die. But I'll drive on land to the bunker and park outside, because the AA turrets obviously don't shoot at land vehicles. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called anti-air. And that's just one thing to consider when you're looking at doing bounties versus mercenary missions. And there's different kind of bounties and mercenaries. There's air to air mercenary. There's air to air bounties. There's bunker missions that you can go in and actually do more first person shooter style contracts. That's what I really like about this game too, is that it incorporates so many different things that you can do between different games. You can there's even racing. You can go racing. You can fly ships if you're like somebody that likes to fly things or drive things. You can do a flight sim. You could do a driving sim. That's more space driving, actually. If you're more of a Call of Duty player and you want to do something that's more first-person shooter, you can go do those and find a buddy that'll fly you to the location, so you don't have to deal with the flying part.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, maybe you're not a good pilot and you need pickup. Again, join an org.
Yep.
Contested zones is the next topic for today. And while I haven't run many contested zones, I've watched enough people do it. So contested zones are a little different from your average gameplay loops. I guess you can throw Hathor missions into contested zones as well, because you do fight the NPCs on top of players. And that's the biggest difference when you go over to Pyro. You see in every station that it's got a contested zone. What are these zones? What can you get from them? And it goes a little something like this. Contested zones are... Yeah, I know, right?
I knew you were going to say that.
Contested zones are PvPvE zones. You will run into other players. You will run into NPCs. And the NPCs in these zones are cranked to 11. They're not like your average NPC that you might run into on a bunker mission. Like these guys, the NPCs are cranked as high as they will go.
They're a challenge. You definitely have to strategize. You can't just run and gun.
Yeah, don't try and run and gun. You're gonna die. And you are gonna run into other players. Now, why are you gonna run into other players? Because there is good loot in these contested zones when you get to the end that you cannot buy in-game or on the pledge store or anywhere. You have to loot it. You have to earn it. Contested zones are like raids almost. You know, it's like an extraction shooter. You go in, you grab your loot, you get out. Now, even though you make it to the end of the contested zone, does that mean another group of players isn't coming in right behind you? Oh, no. No. They're definitely coming in behind you because they have the same goal as you. Get that loot, get out, make some money. And that's one of the things. Is it a good place to make some money? Sure. Is it a good way to upgrade your ship? Hell yeah. Because it's top tier components. And just keep that in mind. If you're going to go try and contested zone, you better have a lot of ammo, you better have good guns, and you better have a team with you. Because if you try and solo it, odds are you're going to die.
You can solo it, but you have to be good at hiding and moving stealthily. You have to be able to. You really have to practice and go in with a team and learn the lay of the land or have the maps so that you know if you're going to pick off somebody at a choke point, you have a means to get to a different ambush point, so that they're not just stacking up on you. But you know, even if you do that, you have a timer against you every time you take somebody out, because most of the time when somebody does a contested zone, they've got their spawn point set to that particular station, and it's only a matter of minutes before they get back to you, depending on where you're at in the contested zone. If you're beyond like a red security door, it might be a little bit more difficult for them to get to you because they're going to need a red card to get to you. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer on this. Currently, the contested zones are a little they're broken. I was going to say a little bit broken, but no, they're broken at the moment. There's layers to the contested zones. First, you have to get these cards to be able to get into the high value areas. They're called supervisor cards, and in order to get those cards, you have to go to a different contested zone that is off in its own little asteroid someplace, where you have to go and get a supervisor card that will let you into these high value areas in the stations. And at the moment, there's methods of glitching through doors and not needing to go through the entire gameplay. And I have done the game. I've done the contested zone through the full playthrough, true to the way it's supposed to be played. And lately, because it's the end of the patch, we've experimented with door glitching and it's, seeing what you can do with it and actually seeing the other side. People just don't do the cards period because they're like, oh, I can just glitch through the door, which doesn't really make it fun. Even I don't enjoy doing it. Is it handy in a pinch when you got shot and you're trying to get back to your body, so hopefully you can get some of the stuff back? Yeah, but that's not the way it's meant to be played. There's also issues with the elevators at the end of the contested zones. The elevators are what allow you to take ship parts, weapons, sometimes the comp cards, the cards. The main goal of the contested zone is to get the activation cards for the executive hangars, where the ultimate goal is to get free ships, and the executive ships are highly sought after because
they're pretty.
They are meant to get you military parts and things like that.
Yeah, and they're pretty. I mean, they got nice paint jobs on them. Typically, they got, like I said, upgraded components, which is broken in the current patch. Anything that came from the executive hangars and or Wakulla have stock components on them, which that's supposed to be fixed in 4.2. Which actually I think leads us into our final. Wow, we've actually done this relatively quick today.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, contested zones being our final main topic for tonight, our next topic is what to expect in the next episode of Citizen Talk. And Knight, I will leave this over to you, since you did all the work on the thing.
All right. On the agenda, yeah. So this is kind of flip a coin episode. It depends on where we're going to be in terms of the 4.2 patch. The main topic for next episode is going to be the 4.2 patch. If the patch is pushed, we are going to discuss our initial thoughts on the patch. Was there a wipe? What items were retained and lost? Frustrations, things that we're going to be happy about, things that like things that CIG has promised us, and did they pull through? We've been told that the Wicklow and executive upgraded parts are supposed to be given back to us in the next patch. That is yet to, well, obviously we haven't, not been pushed yet, so it's yet to be seen. Will ship parts wipe, the ship parts being wiped during a patch be fixed? We've been told that components that you've upgraded your ships on or put on your ships are safe. And this last patch, we didn't see anything.
Certain things persisted. It was another one of those bugs where not everyone gets the same impact, because some people lost executive ships completely. Others didn't. They just lost their upgraded components and weapons on them. And, you know, I still had weapons that I had purchased in game on like my my reclaimer. I didn't have to go upgrade the salvage heads. On the other night, when we had Org Night a couple weeks ago, when we did that mass salvaging after we got the Idrises and you got your Wicklow players.
Yes.
I didn't have to upgrade it. I still had the abrades, so I'm like, okay. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to wipe, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that at all. I would like to see them fix that problem.
Yes. Some other things that we're gonna. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
I was gonna continue with the bullet points here.
Oh, you're good.
It's all you.
I was gonna say some other things that we're gonna talk about are the new items that are coming into the game. Locations. What did we pick and why do we pick it? I'm still on the fence on where I want to go. I may go to Orison. I may go to New Babbage. I don't know if I want to set up shop in Pyro. One of the biggest issues that I have with Pyro is there aren't any planet locations to land at where you can just fly an extra large ship into an extra large hangar. Whereas there are locations you can fly to New Babbage and get an extra large hangar to called up. This Polaris, when I'm flying around in Pyro, if I go to Ruin, Obituary, or Checkmate, I can only call up a docking port when I land, but then I store the ship and call it back up, and I'm in an extra large hangar, which I think is the most ridiculous thing that I hope they fix. So we'll talk about why we picked the home location and where we went. New missions, new Wicklow ships and parts and things that you can get. Talk about the general experience from the 4.2 patch, most exciting features that just kind of like, give us the feels. And what our biggest letdowns are about the patch. Things that we may have been expecting that didn't come to fruition, or things that, and it's going to be inevitable, even though it's a patch and things should be working, there's going to be stuff that is working now that's going to be broken because of bugs, and they'll have to, do hot fixes and things. It happens after the patch. Like, for example, when 4.1.1 came through, I'm huge on bounties, and I wanted to go out and loot ships and turn in Quantanium and everything. We were never told that Quantanium was going to be removed from the loot table. And the second thing that really, really bothered me was the fact that the cargo grids were all messed up, and I couldn't play one of my most enjoyable parts of the game. Has it been fixed since? Yes, it took them a couple of days, but they got the they did a hot fix and they got the cargo grids fixed, but they also took away Quantanium. So I was just like, I'm not gonna do these missions anymore because it wasn't worth it to me. Now, if the patch doesn't go through, both, I imagine, Evil and I'm definitely gonna be doing this. I'm gonna be keeping my ear to the ground to see what everybody else is talking about, the latest hype and rumors for 4.2, any changes last minute that may have come up. For example, everybody was freaking out for the longest time because they said that the script that we've been currently getting from like the Hunt the Polaris mission or the Foxwell bounties, they said that was going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then just last week or very recently, they said, no, it's going to stay. It's going to be, you can still turn them in. People were panic turning in and trying to get these things in. And lately I've been finding that you can call up the missions for script to turn them into Wicklow favors is quite easy to get because people aren't panicking as much. We'll talk about what we're most looking forward to. And then if we haven't picked a home location yet, because we haven't pushed it through, we'll discuss what our options are and what maybe what we're leaning towards. So that there's probably going to be more added for next episode throughout the week as we get more details and as we find out when this patch is going to get pushed. And I'm also going to be doing I'm kind of jumping off topic here, but I'm doing a birthday stream on Friday. So I might throw a little bit of a conversation in that direction too. So
You're getting old.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 4.2 I think is going to be a lot of fun. We got new ships supposedly being teased. We got new sandbox activities. I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, we are definitely going to test probably day one and see if our Quantanium is back in our VHRTs and
I really
ERTs.
hope it is.
Yeah, definitely going to be checking that out because while I do still have a Caterpillar for now as a loaner, I kind of want to utilize it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am going to miss it. But I think that, like I was saying, I think that 4.2 is going to be good, and we're going to have a lot to discuss next week if 4.2 launches, like he said. If not,
Yeah.
me and Knight will figure it out, and we'll probably just keep going down the... We've kind of covered everything for new players.
Yeah, there's a couple things I can drum up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's things I learn every day. There's acronyms. There's we can dive a little bit into RSI itself, subscriber store. I didn't know there was a subscriber store until a couple months in. There's the concierge store.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to High Admiral and Grand Admiral, what you unlock at those points. That is if you want to pledge a little bit more in game. Yes.
When are you getting your VK or your Verpals?
I don't know when exactly they will arrive. I will be ordering them within the next 4 weeks.
Oh, so it's still a month out.
It's still about a month or two out.
Well, reason I ask is because I'm thinking since we're on the new players, there are also different ways to fly in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that'll be one of the... If 4.2 doesn't launch, maybe next week we can go over a little bit of what it's like using what you see here and to my right and versus keyboard and mouse. What are the pros? What are the cons? And yeah, we'll figure that out. But
yeah, that's actually a good talking point because you've got the Solars. I'm actually using, well, some would call it mouse and keyboard, but I'm using mouse and Azeron. So I've got a thumbstick and buttons as well as a mouse, and you've got 2 sticks. I'm eventually going to get it's a HOSAS setup from Verpal, but I'm getting the extension that turns it from HOSAS into HOTAS. So one of my sticks is going to be horizontal.
Isn't that still technically HOSAS?
It's still HOSAS, but it's meant to simulate, because it's not. HOTAS is specifically throttle.
Yeah, so it's still HOSAS.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I fly. I fly HOSAS. Like my left stick is not just throttle. It's typically my my right stick is pitch, yaw, all that, and then my left stick is strafe and throttle.
Yeah.
So I got vertical strafe, left, right strafe, you know, all that on the left stick on top of throttle. So, which is a learning
mine will be.
curve.
I'm totally ready for it because I know I'm setting up my sticks will be set up the same way my mouse and keyboard are. My right hand is going to be pitch, yaw, and roll, and left hand is throttle, vertical, and horizontal strafe. And then when I have the Z extender on there, I'll be able to set it up where if I want to float downward, I just roll the stick forward, and if I want to fly up, I just pull the stick back, or roll the stick back, I should say, on the technically Z axis. I think.
Actually, one of the things I was going to ask you, which this is something maybe we can talk into next week's. I don't remember when the demo for Jump Ship ends. It's in demo right now. And
Okay.
I figured maybe one day this weekend or whatnot, after Org Night or whatnot, if we want to jump off, we can hop on over to Jump Ship, give it a go. I've played it a little bit. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of aspects that I wish Star Citizen would have already have in the game, like some engineering roles and things like that. It's an interesting game. I don't know when the demo is out till, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. But yeah, I ain't got anything else. I think that's about it for tonight. Yeah, we covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Next patch is going to be good. That's all I can say. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be fun. I want to see it be as smooth as 4.1.1 because, to be fair, this most recent patch, even though it was Invictus, the servers ran great. Like, if we can keep up the servers running this smooth throughout the rest of the year, I think CIG is in a very good spot leading up to IAE and Christmas time, and we've had a good year so far. So
it'll be a lot easier if they keep on this trend. It'll be a lot easier to convince our friends to get the game, so we can build the community. And I seriously hope that they my biggest, what I'm looking forward to the most is the improvements they make to the game to make it run smoother and build the foundation of the game more out than what's the next big thing we can add to it. Like, don't add anything more to it. If you want to keep these, I don't care. They can call them activities or whatever they are. The events that they pull out for each patch, they can keep those going, but like focus on building out the foundation of the game and then add in these like seasonal, I'm using air quotes here, seasonal events or add-ons. It needs the foundation first before you add on all these flourishes.
yes, which
Finish
is
the
why,
game, then do the DLCs.
yeah, which is why I'm glad they're focusing on playability over features. Even though they are rolling out some features, I'm okay with that because you don't want the game to get stagnant.
No.
Especially when it's a crowdfunded game, which we might talk about another crowdfunding game that was announced that is, how can I put it, Star Citizen, but pirate ships?
Star Citizen with pirate ships, so it's Wave Citizen.
Yeah, right. It's Wave Citizen. Yeah, so it was announced, and it looks interesting. It's called Ahoy. So if you want to do some research on it,
Ahoy.
Yeah, so it's gonna be an interesting one. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that was gonna wrap it up for tonight. Thank thank you guys for coming by. Thank you for chit-chatting with us. And Polaris is not a good startership. But you can find me over on twitch.tv/TheEvilTactics, as well on YouTube as The EvilTactics. We are on Spotify for the podcast, as well as on Apple Podcast. You got damn it, I fucked it up. MrBKnght over here, where you can find him on twitch.tv/MrBKnght. That is MrBKNGHT. And who knows? I might get him to get a freaking YouTube channel here soon.
I have one. I just haven't really uploaded anything to it, but I do plan on making Citizen Talk-esque videos, not necessarily talking about, not talking on the same topics, just more like, I was a beginner and this is what I did to make what I made and do what I do. So yeah.
Saturday night I might be a little late to org night. We got a family thing going on, but I might definitely be down for an after dark.
Ooh, yeah, we'll have to do it, and I'll definitely hop off so I don't run into any Idris M's in.
So you don't hijack the stream again. Yeah, and for those of you that are wondering, After Dark is our unscripted, balls to the wall, have a few drinks, which, make sure you got some fucking beer this time, or something you drink. We sit, chit-chat, and talk about a lot of the stuff that we're feeling in the game, how we think, even other games. It's not all going to be Star Citizen related. I have a feeling majority of it is, depending on the guest we have on. But yeah, it's a fun time. So make sure you guys come by if you want to see us a little more unscripted and just talking random nonsense, because we try to have fun with it. But yeah, with that being said, right? With that being said, folks, have a good night. Be safe out there. It's getting crazy. And I'll see you next time. Stay tactical, my friends. Night. Have a good night,
Have a good one.
All right.
Don't forget to hit the follow button.
Right. Like and subscribe.